Hey, Saad here. Today I want to show you a community member who was a complete beginner with his sales agency. He messaged me thinking he wasted his time and also money. Now he just closed his first proper client, $1,500 upfront plus 3% on every deal they close. The average deal size is $60,000. So today, I'm going to show you how I'm going to help him deliver the project so you can see what fulfillment actually looks like. Because landing clients is only half the game. Now comes the scary part, which is actually delivering the project. So today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I'm helping him deliver this. So if you are in the same spot or about to be, you'll know exactly what to do when that scary moment comes. So let's get into it. First proper win, 1.5K plus 3% on closed deals. Just had my first ever proper close. I've won before, but those were just tiny few $100 deals. Yeah, I get this because I was at a point where I was just basically making like a couple $100 in the ad automation space until I got banned. So it took me like a whole ban for me to act for the reality to actually slap me in the face, right? I still remember sending my first two campaigns. They had 1 to 2% reply rates, screenshots attached. At that point, I thought cold email was a scam. I had already paid so much for infra in school, and it felt like I had wasted it all. I even messaged Saad saying I was lost and I didn't know what to do. Screenshots attached. I'm gonna walk you guys through the screenshots because there's a lot of golden nuggets that you guys can take. But thankfully, after following Saad's recommendations in my DMs, I had a big jump of interest. Unfortunately, it wasn't because of what I knew, though the guidance helped me a ton. I was just blindly following his recommended copy. After really understanding what deliverability means and writing countless variations of the same email to figure out what works best, things started to click. Now I know my niche better and I'm able to hit 8% reply rates. It really does come down to copy, yes. Understanding your niche, knowing who is in the company to reach out to, and deliverability. Yeah, it's so interesting how if you guys don't if you guys notice, like people or gurus in the AI and automation space, they say, well, just do outreach. Just do outreach so you can sell systems, sales automation, automations in general. But they don't actually explain or teach you how to actually do it, right? Because talking about the theory and just dancing around subjects is not the same as actually being in the battlefield. Okay, so as you guys can see, it's kind of like this hero journey that we see here. It's kind of like the collective unconscious of the hero's journey. That they start, they face hiccups, problems, they fix that, and essentially they just get into the promised land, which is kind of like the hero's journey in the Jungian psychology. Okay, now I know my niche better. Okay, for context, during this entire 1.5 months, every day I would wait super impatiently for replies, not even for interest. Sometimes even a simple "I'm not interested" was exciting for me. So if anyone here is in the same place, just know replies aren't luck. They are the results of stacking a few skills you can only learn through practice. Yes, of course, it's not about spray and pray. It's not about just reaching out to random people. It's not about trying to sell automations for people who don't need it. It's about being systematic. Okay? Looking forward to the first client award. Of course, my friend. I really don't want to mess this client up. P.S. I'm no expert whatsoever. I just had 2 successful campaigns that landed me a client. So 2 successful campaigns. Man, it took me 15 batches. The first time I got my first client, it was like a recruitment agency. So it's so interesting how now, like knowing what I know now, I could pretty much get a client in like a week. But yeah, it's so interesting. Which is also why I'm cashing in my first client reward. So I'm gonna walk you guys through this exact conversation. Obviously, I'm gonna blur his name. He said, "How are you? Need your expert advice on something? Feeling kind of lost right now. Don't know what niche to get into. Classic. Tried running 2 campaigns, only got 2 positive replies from my latest one, and at least I'm improving. Probably because of my copy and that I'm testing a lot of variants. One is recruitment. One was recently funded companies. No specific niche, just any funded company. I was thinking, should I niche down and really just research and focus on one niche? Would you recommend the regulation?" Yeah, I can tell he was very like overwhelmed, which it might be you. Okay, right now maybe you're overwhelmed. There's an overload of information on the internet. So you're going to have to pay attention to what I'm going to read right now. Apologies for the text wall, no worries, but I kind of need guidance. So I said, all right, here's exactly what you're going to do. No more confusion. It's so interesting now that I can tell the blind spots. So open Apollo, literally open Apollo, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, build it using these exact filters. Industry, staff and recruitment, plus technical recruitment, employee counts, 5 to 50 employees. Yeah, 5 to 50 employees, if you're watching this, you want to go for it. Really good because it's sweet spot. So they're not broke. That means they can pay you, but at the same time, they're not at like enterprise level. So they don't handle that internally. And then I said, set up this exact 4 email sequence. First name got 3 companies in city actively hiring senior React developers this week, creating that urgency. Recently connected recruitment with 5 companies looking for backend engineers, resulted in 2 placements within 30 days. Are you currently working with companies hiring tech roles? That's a really good copy. Excellent copy. I think I came up with this right off the bat. Following up on my note about the companies hiring React developers, most technical recruiters I work with are spending 15 hours weekly just trying to find companies with open roles. So you guys can just take a screenshot to this, right? And then maybe you can use it in your outreach. Essentially, he picked recruitment 5 to 50 employees, USA, IT. So it was IT recruitment. And he managed to close a client. So now let's talk about the clients he closed, because I'm going to explain what they do in very, very simple terms. And then we're going to basically just implement this and show you guys how he can deliver. Okay, so what his client does in stupid simple terms. Well, they run big call centers. Okay, so companies don't have to hire customer support teams themselves. Instead of building their own team, companies just plug into X Team. So X Team is basically his client's name. Obviously, I'm not going to share his client's name. So he will connect them with any company that gets a lot of calls, chats, or emails from customers like online stores, hospitals, insurance companies, hotels. Okay. The fulfillment strategy is going to be very, very straightforward. He'll be going after people who already run customer support teams because they know the pain already, which means they are hiring, training, or agent quitting. They also want it to cost less for them, and they want someone else to deal with the mess. Okay. So the right person he'll connect them with is CFOs, because CFOs care about saving money. Okay. Director of customer support, hate turnover plus hiring within any company. CEOs, because they want operations smooth and fast. Now, everyone in the e-com, healthcare, insurance, hospitality has support teams, obviously, and all of them struggle with the same pain point that his client actually solves, which is too many support tickets, agents quitting, and big costs during busy seasons. Okay, now the industries are going to be, like I said, e-commerce, retail, healthcare, insurance. The job titles are here. The employee count is 50 to 500 employees. And these are the keywords to just kind of like nail down RICP. The connector copy, and this is where I'm going to explain it because it's going to help you guys a ton. Also, pre-draft like a good connector copy. Subject line, first name, / customer service cost. Now, this gets opened because it's their name plus a problem they already think about it daily. So / customer service costs. You can totally apply this. First name / intros. First name / client acquisition. First name / sales systems. Okay, if you're delivering for a client or wondering how that would look like, for example, you put the first name of that lead along with / the problem that your clients that you are working with solves. Company name is an industry. Most teams I speak to are either stuck with high churn in their in-house support or BPOs that can't flex when things get busy. So this is the copy that I wrote. As you can see, it's very casual. It's kind of like you're talking to someone at a bar, or like someone like at the street or a coffee shop, restaurant. I work with a US partner that stepped in for an e-com brand when their call center bailed mid Q4. Give that some thoughts. I work with a US partner that stepped in for an e-com brand when their call center bailed mid Q4. Very clear. Like their language is so simple. I work with a US partner that stepped in for an e-com brand when their call center, again, bailed mid Q4. Very specific, mid Q4. Had full support live in 3 days. Boom, we solved the problem. So we're using the connector positioning. You're the middleman, not selling anything. You're just connecting people and making a shit ton of money. Wouldn't help to connect. Obviously, low pressure question that lets them say yes without committing to anything, because people don't want to commit to anything yet. Okay, just yet. Okay. So this is the fulfillment strategy. Now you might be thinking, Stan, well, how do we source leads? Okay, these companies. Well, Apollo, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it because I believe you guys are wondering how to scrape Apollo. So it's going to help you guys a ton. So I'm going to use this platform, which is Ample Leads, which is a platform that I already showed you guys in recent videos. So right now you sign up, you get 500 free credits right now. So you can claim now and get it. So I already claimed it. I already have my account. So I have like 6,000 credits here. When you sign up, you get 10,000 already scraped here. As you can see, these are my scrapes. I scraped like a 10K. And the cool part about this platform, by the way, I'm not affiliated with them. Maybe I will in the future, but they also clean up the actual data for you, like very beautiful. If you're watching this channel for quite a while, you know my font is Geese, my best font, and I like Google Sheets to look really good. So they clean it for you. So they made my life a lot easier, right? And your guys' life also. So this is the platform. You simply just put the search URL here, the number of leads, the file name. You can also do that using API, which I think we're going to do it. Yeah, we're just going to use the API, which is really good. It's kind of like Apify, which is awesome. So big up to the developers of this platform, Ample Leads. You guys are amazing. So I'm going to show you guys how we're going to automate this. But first, we need to build the list. So again, I'm just going to go to Apollo. Very straightforward. I'm just going to log in. The only thing you have to do is sign up with a random Gmail Outlook account. Do not pay for Apollo because we're going to scrape it. And there we go. I just pasted away my Apollo partnership. Well, I don't really care about the money. Because, I mean, think about it. Like, why would I say you guys should pay for Apollo when in reality you don't? I don't really care about the money, you know? So, yeah, you don't want to do it, okay? You don't pay for it. Unless you want to enrich. Because Apollo provides, which is valuable, they provide an endpoint that allows you to enrich. Saad, what is enrichment? Well, let me give you an example. Let's say you have, let me go to my playground here. Let's say you have a list. For example, we have company names, okay? Or like company domain. Well, if you want to find the decision maker, well, guess what? Apollo is a lead sourcing database. If you put like the website in search people endpoints and their endpoints, which is in their API documentation, let me know if you guys want a video on this. They can search the database and enrich, find the decision maker within that company because it's a lead sourcing database. That's what I mean by enrichment, okay? So this is valuable in Apollo. But in terms of like actually scraping, no. No. So let me just go here and then make sure you always are in the net new and make sure always the email status is verified. So step one, we're just going to go to job title, include, and then we're just going to simply just copy these job titles here. So CFO here, Control C, CFO, there we go. What else? Director of Customer Service. Director of Call Center. And then CEO. There we go. And then Chief Operation Officer. It's the same thing. It's just that Apollo they use like a keyword search system because people's LinkedIn bio, LinkedIn job titles are kind of different. For example, a person with like a decision maker would put Chief Operating Officer. Another person would put COO. Okay, but at the same persona. But Apollo, like I think it is really smart. Is they do this right? They pull based off the keywords of like a job title. So it's different. See, when I put COO, it wasn't the same, but when I added Chief Operating Officer, well, now it increased, right? So VP of Operations, let's actually build like a big list here, and then we can trim the fat as we go. My recommendation is always build like a giant list, and as you go, you exclude the fat, okay? So 32K, I'm already in the United States here. Employees, like I said, 50 to 500. So 50 to 500. So just toggle these three things. Very simple. What else? So I already had technologies. Yeah, I already had technologies toggled in. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do it because it's a good, like it's a good signal. So since we're also going for companies that are e-com, and we're essentially using an e-com case study in the copy, right? We said, hey, an e-com company, whatever, right? So we can look for companies that use platforms that might signal that they are e-com. For example, Shopify. There's a good chance, right? Shopify. You can also add Squarespace. So Squarespace. So Square Space e-commerce. Because if you guys don't know, this is Squarespace. Squarespace. Power your entire business. So it's kind of like the same thing as Shopify, right? And then you can also add Squarespace as in like the platform, Squarespace payments. Because if they use Square, that means they are pretty much, I would like, I could pretty much pinpoint that they are e-com. In terms of the revenue, I'm gonna put at least $1 million. So yeah, okay, that looks good. I'm gonna go to keywords. I'm just gonna add these ones right here: customer support, customer service, and call center. So go to company keywords. Customer support, and also customer service. Great. So, United States, everything looks good. All right. Email status, everything looks good. What else? Yeah, I can add more keywords. I'm just gonna add. Check this out. I'm gonna increase the lead list right now. There we go. Call again. Done. Okay, sweet. Obviously, you do not need 1.7K, right? You only need like 300, 400 with the right copy and messaging, and you're good. So we're just gonna copy this URL now, then go back to ample leads, and then let's automate this. So we'll just go to documentation, and then authentication, start a poll run. So we want the start a poll run, okay? So we're just gonna copy it, go to workflows in NA10. This is NA10. It's going to be my no-code tool of choice. Add first step, trigger manually. And we're going to add an HTTP request here. And then we're simply going to import the curl. We're not going to add the URL right like this because it has to be JSON. So copy this. And actually, fetch count is, okay, so we want 500 leads. File name, first client or word, M, for example. And this is the URL. So I'm just going to copy this URL, actually. So I built the entire curl. There we go. And now I can copy this. Copy. Using JSON. Paste this here. And I believe that's pretty much it. Let's see. Where do you put your API key? So copy. I believe if we execute, we're going to get an error because we need to put the API. Okay, so API key is what? Authentication? Oh yeah, it's in the query. Okay, sweet. So you want to copy this, then go back, and then add it to your query. And then you're going to copy your API key here, put it here. There we go. Process it. Nice. So now you want to name this run ample leads. Now, what do? Well, we need to check the status. So get Apollo run status. This is the one. So, okay, so we're just going to copy this and make sure to pin this, obviously, because you don't want to run it again. And then go to HTTP and then import the curl, paste it here. And then the run ID is going to be run ID. Here, make sure to remove this. So it's going to be processing again because, I mean, it takes a little bit of time, right? So execute. Oh, we forgot the API. Okay, copy, and then put the API key here. So let's see. So success completed. Awesome. So this is the run ID. Great. So get runs. And once we got the runs, so now we're going to make another request. HTTP. Now we need to get the results. Export results. Yeah. So copy this. Go back. Go to curl. Put this here. And then we're just going to add a query parameter. We're just going to name it. Put the value here first. And then you want to go to authentication, and it's going to be API key. So the run ID, obviously, is run ID. Great. Request not found? Why is that? Oh. Added a space here. Great. We got 500. So this is how you basically run this. So get data. Sweet. So simply just pin this. Okay, make sure to pin all of this. Well, in reality, now we're only going to deal with this one. But yeah, so now we got the data. Sweet. So what do? Well, we need to verify the emails. So what he's going to do is basically just use the SSM masters, okay, which is this one, right? So you can just log in and then he can use it. I'm actually going to show you guys how it looks like because you might be wondering like, Saad, how does it look? I'm just going to use like an optimized flow that I built, which is this one. Just going to copy this thing right here. And I'm going to add an if here. So if email. So email, let's check email here. Exists. Let's execute. Sweet. So we just removed the leads that we couldn't find the emails for. So this is the one. And then we're just going to plug this right here. There we go. And then check this out. So I am going to execute. So we're getting one, and then we're getting the requests, and boom. For example, you would see here that either like the email is valid or not. So status valid, you see? So this is kind of like an optimized flow, but I'm not going to use it now because I want you guys to show you guys alternatives. So I'm just going to delete it. Okay. And then just delete this one, delete this one. Okay. So what can you use to verify the emails? We're just going to use any mail finder. Very simple, straightforward. The verification is actually quite cheap and affordable. So how do we do this? We're going to go to API, see full documentation, and then let's just close all these tabs first. And then we want, what is it? Where is it? Verify an email. Choose this one. So this is a simple curl So all you have to do is click on this plus button, make sure it's an HTTP request, import curl, paste this here, and very, very simple. You're just gonna put the email here. So let's look for email. Here's the email, this guy Josh. And then the API key is basically gonna be your API key here. And then put it here. Make sure to batch. So batch 5 every 1000 ms, yes. Verify. Okay, so that's how you do it, right? So instead of running the entire list, let's check Impolite's documentation. Let's say if you want to just get like a record, because you might be want to build this, and you want to just run record by record to build the system, and then at the end just run the entire thing. So let's go to documentation, let's read it together. So export results. So limit. So query optional integer. Okay. So run ID. Let's go to authentication and see. Oh yeah. So and limit equals 50. Sweet. So I believe we can just add the query right here. Limit equals 1, I believe. I think it's gonna work, yeah, because it's within the query parameters, yeah. So now, the first one is not true because we don't have the email. So let's just put 10. So 8. Perfect. So email valid, which is the same output that SSM verifier gave us. So now we're gonna add another if. Obviously, we want to deal with only status equals to valid. So if, we're just going to name this valid, question mark. So now this is valid, right? So what do we do now? Well, we need to pre-draft the copy. So how do we do it, right? Because we have a bunch of variables here. We have company name, we have the industry. So first we need to clean the company names because sometimes in the data, we're going to find that companies include LLC, LTD. So we're not going to say saw company LTD or LLC along with the industry. So we're going to feed AI the company description and we're going to say, hey, just output the industry, okay? And that's pretty much it. We're just going to add that into our copy and we're good. So let's continue with this. So if true, obviously, we're going to add an LLM model, basic LLM chain. You can use any AI model, like I say. So this is going to be get industry. I'm going to leave you guys a prompt that I have here in my notepad sheet. Copy. Going to put it right here. So variable industry. What it does gets you the industry / niche the company operates in. So this is the prompt. Your job, identify what industry or niche this company operates in using 2 to 3 words. I'm gonna put here in this paste company info here. I'm gonna get, but first I need to get the data. So first, as you noticed, NA10 yelled at me because I need to connect GPT-4o. Sorry, NA10. So now I can essentially just add the data from company info. Oh, actually, this scraper actually gives you the management consultant. Oh, so we don't need to get we don't need to do it using AI. Oh, there we go. You guys just got a prompt, so you can just copy it. I didn't know actually. So we don't need this. So, but we need AI to clean the company names. Okay, so we can just clean the company names. So I'm just going to go to this document, which is a document that I share also within people in my community. You can copy it, by the way. This link is, I already shared this multiple times in this channel. There we go. Here's the link. It's totally accessible. Yeah, see? So I'm just going to put this here. So normalize the company name by focusing on its most distinctive and memorable elements as it might be reflected in the company's domain. So the domain, here is the company's domain. And the person's bio, we're just going to use the LinkedIn. And the company's LinkedIn, because we get the company's LinkedIn. So LinkedIn. And then just delete this S, and then delete bio. There we go. But wait, now that I'm thinking about it, we're not gonna get the data from Epify. Yeah, what am I doing? So first we need to add a merge. Yeah, so we're gonna add a merge, because if we feed in the data from Epify, it's not gonna match the actual valid emails. So we're just gonna add a merge. The mode is gonna be combine, merge by position. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is unlink this, and then we're gonna merge this with input 1, okay? And then we're also gonna connect this one right here. And then the next step is we're gonna connect verify with output 2. So now if we execute, check this out. We're gonna get the eight items with everything. So now we can just delete this one and add this right here. There we go. So now if I execute again, you will see that we're not gonna have that issue. So there we go, true. And we get also the data, which is awesome. So now we can clean the company names. There we go. And now we can get it from the valid. Boom. So now we're going to get the company name, company's domain, which is company's domain, Happy Dad. And the company's LinkedIn. So now we're not going to have that issue. Perfect. So now if I execute, there we go. I'm just cleaning 8 companies. Sweet. So there we go. So now the only thing I have to do is basically just plug everything into a copy, right? So simply I am gonna add a set node. So this one is gonna be company name, and I'm gonna add another one, which is gonna be industry. So I'm gonna go to valid and I'm gonna get the industry. Awesome. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add everything to instantly. So I'm just going to go HTTP requests, and then I'm going to create a new campaign in instantly. Instantly is basically the cold email software. I'm going to log in. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So I'm going to have to first authenticate, which is going to be my integrations here, API keys. It's version 1. And then I'm going to go to create lead endpoints, which is the endpoint of instantly. So let's see. So copy this thing, go back to NA10, import. There we go. Bear your API key, which is going to be, I believe, actually, it's version 2. So I believe it's version 2, yes. So key, select scope. It's always going to be all, create. This is your API key. Go back. And then if we get an error, we can fix it. So I'm going to make sure it's a JSON here. And then it's going to be using JSON. And all we have to do is just copy this thing here. Obviously, we're going to have to delete some of the fields. Go here. And then, so delete this. There we go. And then the campaign is going to be the campaign that we're going to create here. So I'm just going to name it first client reward. Okay, now you get the campaign ID, which is going to be before campaign. Well, excuse me, after campaign and before leads. So just put it right here. And then we're just going to plug the emails. So put the email here. Email. This is the email. Personalization is going to be There's no personalization. So what we're going to do is remove it. I don't care about the website. We're just going to keep the first name and last name, which is going to be first name and last name. And then we're just going to continue with company name. And then we're going to add a custom variable here, which is going to be, there we go. So everything looks good to me, right? This is the JSON. So let's execute and then let's see. Done. Perfect. So now if I go to instantly, I'm going to see it in my leads here. Awesome. So I can simply just put, hey, first name. And then basically the same thing. We can just copy this entire thing, put it right here. And boom. Saw beatbox is in the food and beverage is in the food and beverage industry. Most teams that speak to are either stuck with high churn in their in-house support or BPO that can flex when things get busy. Everything looks good. Perfect. So the subject line is going to be first name, customer service costs. And there we go. Everything looks good. Add a space. And then save. Awesome. So there we go. That's how you do it. I'm going to leave you guys the blueprint, add to instantly. Sweet. So that's a system, an entire system that's going to allow you to automate the stuff of like scraping Apollo. You're just gonna run the scraper, get the data, verify the emails, clean the company names, also get the industry, and essentially just add to instantly. So that's the entire strategy of fulfillment, along with basically building out the system, which is essentially the entire project. So there we go, guys. Hopefully you guys found value in this one, right? So what can we take from this video? Obviously, well, the only thing you have to do, like I always say, just get out there, take action. I believe in you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.